friends, in this video we will talk about two things. First, impact of COVID-19 on Indian IT sector, and second, how this COVID-19 pandemic is different than the crisis happened in 2008. So we'll try to compare COVID-19 and the GFC happened in 2008. So let's begin the video. When America sneezes, India catches a cold. And when Europe too sneezes, India gets a fever. Do you really think so? Let's try to debug this thing. First of all, let's talk about the fear. Fear of losing a job, fear of career, fear of growth, fear of increment, fear of promotions, fear of revenue, fear of layoff. So when we specifically talk about increments and the layoff, big giants like TCS, Wipro, Infosys clearly said that there will be no increment and no layoff this year. Now let's talk about the fear of revenue. It is a fear that COVID-19 will significantly impact the $180 billion Indian IT sector, and the impact may be worse than that of the 2008 global financial crisis. The fear is justified, considering the US and the Europe, which together account for more than two-thirds of India's IT exports, are among the worst affected geographies by this pandemic. Clients could significantly reduce their IT spending this year. The early indicators confirm this fear, like Accenture, which started the March quarter earnings season, has slashed in its FY20 guidance by almost half to 3 to 6% in local currency. The company has a robust pipeline and a strong relationship with many of its clients, a trend shared by many of its IT services peers. Yes, so friends, fear is justified. Now, let's talk about COVID-19 pandemic versus 2008 crisis, global financial crisis. The impact on the pandemic on the IT industry is expected to be worse than the GFCs, as the total direct GDP impact can be nearly $8 trillion, with all the major sectors hit hard. This was not the case during the GFC, when the economic correction almost exclusively impacted only to the rich. The economic lows due to COVID-19 will in turn affect spending on IT by clients. The new coronavirus pandemic has stalled the global economy and most businesses are feeling the impact. India's information technology firms are expected to see a disruption, given that software services providers generate most of their business overseas and the bulk of it comes from clients in financial services, manufacturing and communication sector. The NSE Indians IT Index, the benchmark for the sector, has trembled 35% from its peak because of the coronavirus outbreak. The last time the index saw a steeper drop was during the global financial crisis in 2008, when it is plunged to 58%. Now let's talk about India's four largest IT companies were doing then and now. And these four largest IT companies are TCS, Infosys, HCL, and Wipro. So first of all, we will talk about revenue growth then and now. Revenue grew at an annualized rate for more than 30% in 3 years prior to the subprime crisis of 2008, while the growth slowed after that. It was better than the pace at which the IT companies have grown in the last 3 financial years. To be sure, the sector has been transitioned from outsourcing to digital services and consulting in the past few years. Now let's talk about the profitability then and now. Operating profitability has remained stable for most of the companies, as you can see in this chart. Now let's talk about the valuation then and now. Valuation measured by the price to earning multiple have cooled on the both the occasions. So in 2008 and now it is almost cooled down. Now let's talk about the last point, weight on the indices then and now. After the 2008 route, the MSCI India's index saw a rise in the weight of information technology stocks by the end of the year following the crisis. Foreign firms tracking the MSCI index increased their holdings of domestic software services providers, and the sector's weight on MSCI index has remained higher than the Nifty 50 index.
So friend, this is all in this video. If you really like this, please subscribe this channel and be with us for this type of videos. Thank you.